Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Struggling Day Trader channel. I'm here, Hassan, here to go over my trades for the day. Let's just get right into it. Today I traded COIN, Dash, NVDA, and SMCI. And as you can see, I had some struggles on the day. We're just going to go over them, see if we can learn from them. So, first off, let's check out COIN. So my trading strategy pretty much is centered around VWAP, which is volume weighted average price. What I do, I set a timer to keep me out of the market basically for the first 5 to 10 minutes and let things kind of settle down, and then I look for my setup basically. So the first thing I do is on that opening candle where all that volume comes in, I like to mark the top of that range. And basically, I only want entries that happen above that range. Because basically, if it's still trading in this opening volume, it's more so consolidating. It's trading within itself. I want it to be pushing up, right? Pushing up, creating, breaking through resistance, and turning that into support, right? So this is basically your first resistance of the day. Right, so I draw that line and then I sit back, and you see it trades below, and then it comes back up and breaks above that area, and we have this little mini consolidation above that area, and then it breaks down below again, closes below, and then it throws this doji right here, which let me take off my executions just so we can see that for a second. Okay, now to me this is decent, right? It didn't close quite above that, what I call this is HVS, high volume support, right? That's my thing. I don't know if any other people call it that, but this is what I call this line that I place over the top range of this opening candle, high volume support, which is at 218.40. Come on now. There we go. All right. So, I mean, it closed a bit below, but what I like to see is for the price to break above that HVS and then come back and test that area, especially testing VWAP, right? And I like to see it sell into VWAP and then get bought back up, which is this long tail at the bottom. That signs that there's buyers down here and they like that price and they're willing to buy it up, right? So that's pretty much my trigger. When I see that, I like to put an order in at the top of the next candle. Okay, actually, that's not what happened. I bought this little narrow range candle. I love getting in on narrow range candles because your risk to reward is very high on those. And in doing that, though, I set my stop loss pretty tight. I pretty much set it right under this candle. And what I'm learning from my trading style is that I need to give my stop a little more room. I get stopped out right when I jump in a lot of these trades, and then it does exactly what I want it to do right after. And I've now got a habit of jumping right back in when I get stopped out. So let's put my executions back. Okay, so I got in as soon as it broke the high of that candle, and then it stopped me out, and that's when it made this bottoming tail, right? And so I got stopped out, it dropped down there, and then it pushed right back up to my trigger point, which was 218.50. So I would put my entry at 218.51 so that whenever it breaks this top. So when it did that, I just went ahead and put my order right back in, and it triggered me in. And it came back and tested this area one more time, which actually would have been a cool spot to add, but I did not. And it came up here. Now, with COIN, I really expected a big run today. If you look at the daily down here, this is basically the criteria for me putting something on my watch list is that the daily looks good and the hourly is uptrending, right? So You see here on the daily, from here, it's pretty much been in a steady uptrend. And it consolidated here above this level, and then this morning it gapped up, right? So I've had a strong feeling that it was going to have a strong day, being that it gapped up over all of this resistance from the past few trading days. Which, I mean, as you can see, I was right. It did make a really nice run today, but that bias also makes kind of affects the way I trade it. Also, you see here on the hourly, it's moving at a nice uptrend. It consolidated here for a few days, and today it started breaking up over that consolidation area. So I was really confident that it was going to go. With that being said, I really shouldn't have taken profit right here. I should have been more patient. I'm still kind of evolving with my take profit strategy. I've just started trading these large caps. I'm used to trading mid to small caps where, the trade is happening super fast. As soon as I'm in the money, 2R, I'm snatching it off the table because it's going to fall right back down. With these larger caps, if it's going to go, it might churn a little bit, but if you give it some room to wiggle, you can catch really big moves. So I did end up moving my stop up, trying to make sure I secured some profit. I sold 75% of my position, or like 80% of my position here. I had 25 shares. I sold 20 of them. I don't know what percentage that is, but I sold 20, was holding 5. And then it came down here and kind of threw me a nice little setup here, right? It's holding this HVS line, and it threw a little narrow range hammer pin candle, right? So I added, and it goes and makes a new high. But I think right at this time, the SPY pulled back. What time was this? This was 9:58. Maybe not. Oh yeah, this candle right here, I bet. Let me put this on the one. No, not really. Not really. I can't even blame the SPY on this one. Can't even blame the SPY. It just came back down to VWAP. And once again, I have my stop super tight, which it was back here, but because I added, I wanted to maintain my 1R risk, which was $25. So I moved my stop up super tight underneath this candle. Hindsight, I could have at least just brought it up to this level here. It would have been safe. This would not have tagged me out. This would not have tagged me out. Well, this wouldn't have tagged me out, right? But again, this tagged me out, and green bar right here at VWAP. So what do? Jump right back in. Let me see here. The high of this was 219.97. See, this was a FOMO. This was hell of a FOMO. I didn't even wait. Normally, I'm supposed to wait for the next candle to break the high of the previous candle. But as you can see here, high of this candle was 219.97, which is bumping up right against that $200 resistance, right? So it didn't break 200. Really should have had a line sitting right here. I might have had one on my other chart, right? So even here, because it didn't hold that level, I should have been kind of weary about adding right there. Anyway, so it tested that 200 area right there. If I wanted back in, I should have put an order at, let's say, 201 cents, right? That way, this candle would not have triggered me. This candle might have triggered me. But usually if the candle I want to get in on doesn't trigger me, I delete my order and wait for another opportunity. So I could have just been holding my shares. This would have scared me a little bit, but it wouldn't have stopped me if I had my stop in the good spot. And then it made the move that I was wanting. I wanted up to 225 area, right? This is what I wanted when I entered here. So, I just didn't play it that well. I just didn't play it that well in the moment. This entry was cool. Just need a little more room on my stops. And then over here, this was straight FOMO. My rule is to not enter far away from VWAP like that. Like, I want the dip to VWAP to jump in. But to make an excuse for myself, it was retesting this area, this previous high, right? This pin was here. I saw it came and tested it here. got bought up, tested it here, got bought up, traded above, tried again, got bought up, and then I was like, you know, I'm getting in right here. I think it's gonna hold this level and go. Got in, immediately broke the level and traded down the VWAP. At this point, I'm already 1, 2, 3, 4 trades in, 4 losses in. I'm at negative 4R on this one stock. So at this point, I'm done with coin. Like, pretty heavy. Bad losses. I should have stopped after 2. Going negative 4R on one stock is very bad. So I'd say I'd like to, after the second swing and miss, to just move on and find something else to trade, because this just looks ugly on my P&L. It's disheartening seeing that. You know what I mean? While I'm in this, I'm also trading Dash. So let's go check out Dash. Now Dash had really good, the daily looked great. It's been uptrending for a long time, right? It just broke through this, what would have been a double top, and gapped up this morning. So I feel like this had some pretty good room to go somewhere. Also, you see on the hourly over here, it's uptrending. Nice uptrend, just broke out over this resistance, and looks like it's poised to go higher, right? But look at this pre-market. Pre-market had no volume whatsoever. Normally this would disqualify, but I felt, you know, the daily looked so good to me that I thought, hey man, it might go. So hindsight, I'm not trading anymore. I'm not putting any more stocks on my watch list that have pre-market that looks like this. Because what happened? There was just no volume in here, man. There was just no volume. I got chopped up. Let's say I throw my HVS line up here. It breaks through that, comes right back down, and tests VWAP. This is all bad. Let's see. The high here is 132.31, 132.32. So it triggered me over this candle by 1 penny, and then proceeded to stop me out directly. And then I'm looking, it's coming back, breaks back over VWAP. What do? I just jump right back in. No trigger, just, hey, let me get back in there. And stop me out again. And then to make things worse, it tries to break over the HVS line again, does not hold, falls back down. And what do? It throws a little pin bar here. I set an order at the break of the high of that. Tags me in, goes straight down and stops me out. So it was rough this morning, man. And really, any entries below this blue line, this HVS line, that's my fault. That's my fault. I should not be trading in here. I have that rule for a reason, because I've done this hundreds of times and it doesn't work out most of the time when it's down here. But it's like it works out often enough for me to think there's a chance and for me to be willing to try it. But in reality, it's just a bad move. So these are my struggles. You know, this is literally what I'm here to try to stop doing. Now you see, if I could have waited and traded above, made a higher high, came down here, threw a nice little pin bar, held this level, and then, you know, maybe. But the volume was just way too low. Look at it, it's not a good trading stock. And you got to stay out of those. As a day trader, you want to be where the momentum is at. You want to be where the volume in the trading is at. You want to be trading with the institutions, right? So this shouldn't have been on the watch list. Shouldn't have been trading below this HVS line. Lots of lessons to learn from this one, right? So at this point, both of these are done. I'm negative 200. And it's looking like a really bad day. I'm really supposed to walk away from the computer at 100 when I'm 4R down. But I've had so many days where I've been down and I've dug it back out. So I'm willing to sit and keep it rolling. Plus, it's my first day streaming online, and I didn't want to end with the L like that. Even though I was risking a super duper L, you know, I could have got kicked out of my platform, which happens at negative 300. But anyway, let's keep moving forward. It gets a little worse before it gets better. All right, NVIDIA. NVIDIA was a beautiful setup, I thought. Gapped up this morning after breaking through this double top here. You see on the hourly, we got a nice uptrend, pretty slow and steady uptrend here. So it made it to the watch list. Pre-market trading was decent. You know. So this one is a go. Again, I try to stay out of the market the first 5 to 10 minutes. Let it, do its thing. Trades way up here, comes back down. And here, what am I looking at? I think I put a support line here because I saw it struggled to break through first, and then it came back and struggled to break back below, even though it eventually did. But you can see it's really interacting with this level here. So after it made another high over this and then came and tested that, I was like, okay, it looks like we could make another run up. But again, my thing is VWAP. I don't trade up here. I wait for the support and VWAP to coincide, right? So I'm up here. What does it do? It starts pulling back towards VWAP. I'm still feeling pretty good about this support level here, and this pin is making me feel like, okay, this could be a good place to add. So what do? I add and then get stopped out. Now, another thing that I'm trying to tell myself, not only my stops are too tight. If I'm getting in and VWAP is my strategy's main support level, my stop needs to be below VWAP. Because a lot of times while it's getting going, it might test VWAP 2 or 3 times before it really gets, really makes that bigger move. And I need to give it room to do that. So I did not give it room and stopped out. And then almost had a tweezer pattern here, or big harami pattern, back right up to that level. And again, I have a long bias on this stock because of the daily and the hourly. So I buy the break of the next candle, right? And this turned out to be the entry right off of VWAP. Nice strong buy up after this closes. Boom, we get in 10 shares. Filled 7 and 3. 10 shares. And then from that point, it goes straight up out of my buy zone and I'm in the green. So I'm comfortable. I'm feeling better. This was a super long consolidation. It was looking good, then it was looking less good, and then right here I started getting worried, but my stop was still down here where it should be. And it came down towards VWAP, but it didn't test, nor did it break. So that was great. And then the rest of the trade is history. This was an amazing trade. It broke back over this level here, and it just kept going. I sold 70% of the shares, which is 7 of my 10 shares right here at $859.81. So my entry was $848.49. And so this was over a $10 move I captured here. Held on and then took the rest out at $864. And I told myself after it came down from here, I was like, you know what? I think it was after this top tail. I said, you know what? I'm going for $875. But once it got up here, I started getting antsy, man. I'm looking at all this red. Like, man, I can't just sit back and miss this opportunity. So I went ahead and took profit and went ahead and got all out right here, which was a great trade. Risked 25 and lost on my first trade, but still was able to close out with $102.55. Without that loss, it would have been over $125, which is a 5R win. So this was a 5R winner, which is a 4R after recouping my loss. But look what happened. It came back and tested that top and then took straight off to $875. High of day, $876.54. So idea was good. I really don't like staying in the trades this long. Like, I got stuff to do, you know what I mean? So I'm not mad at myself for getting out of there. I kind of wish I had my stop up here at that topping tail. But I started to wanting to give him more room. I don't know, I'm constantly going back and forth. When you're sitting there and the money's on the table and you're torn between wanting to catch more of the move and not wanting to give profit back, it's really tough. It's really tough. But overall, I'm definitely happy with this trade. It worked out better. Also learned some lessons about entry, being patient for that pullback to VWAP. I'm here. I'm scared that it's not coming back to VWAP and I'm gonna miss it. But like almost always, it comes back to VWAP first. Almost always. So yeah, just gotta be patient. If it doesn't come back to VWAP, that's cool. That's cool. Let it go. You don't have to catch every move up that's on your watch list. You know what I mean? So we're getting there. We're getting there. Now, let's go over here to this trade of the day, SMCI. Man, I've been trading SMCI since 600 bucks and catching $20, $30 moves, $40 moves on it. It's been really nice. It's been a really good stock. It hasn't been that wild to trade. It's surprising that even though it's making massive moves, they're mostly predictable. So again, the daily, we had this crazy run here and crazy pullback, which held up here, and then we had another run up, and then a pullback and made a higher low, and then this morning it gapped up over this resistance. So I felt like for sure today was going to be a nice day for SMCI. Hourly was looking good as well. Been uptrending the last few days, along with consolidating after the run up. Consolidate, run up, consolidate, run up, consolidate. So we had the run up. Everything. Look at these big volume candles in pre-market. Pre-market was really nice. Pre-market was very active from 7 on. So this was a good look. Now my entry, going back and looking at my entry, this was a gut entry. This was definitely a gut entry. I've been watching 1 minute charts for like 2 years, and sometimes you could just feel when it's about to curl up and make that move. I was slightly early, but after getting slapped up, I did give the stop a bit more room. I think my stop was down here under this candle after I got in there, and I only got in with 2 shares. So I kind of had some room, It was easy to give it some room with only 2 shares. Got in, stopped down. It actually threw a better entry pattern, which I could have waited for. But, sometimes you got to just jump in there. And after this point here, it was all gravy. Everything. It just went like almost straight up. Like you see this on the 5. Literally just like boom, boom, boom. Just high, 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 high. All the way up. And I had a great profit take on this one. I started out with a stop with a limit order at the top that I wanted it to hit, which was at 11.25. It was like 11.24.89 or something like that because I wanted 25. But maybe it was lower than that. It might have been 11.20. But once it got there, it still looked so strong. Like looking at the 15 and looking at the 5. The volume, it looked really strong. So I actually canceled the limit order and did a split stop order, one with 7 shares and one with 3 shares, and I was dragging up the 7 share stop loss up as I was going with the price action, just trying to see how much further I could get, rather than just putting in a limit order. And it worked out great because I ended up taking profit at 11.28 instead of 11.20 or 11.25, right? So now I'm holding 3 shares. And that sounds silly, but this is a $1,000+ stock. My 3 shares did work. You hear me? So little pullback and then right back up. When I saw this volume come in on this candle, that's usually when it's about to turn around. So I raised that stop on the last 3 shares pretty tight, and bang, right there, 11.47. 11.47. That's almost $20 more that my little 3 shares ran, right? So entry was 10.75.10. First take profit was 11.28, and then 11.47. Yo, that's a $72 move, you guys. $72 move on 2 shares. Sold one share here and one share there. And look, 5R. I risked $25 on this trade and made $125.49. That is solid risk to reward. Very solid. And very minimal commissions paid on that. Right? For every 1,000 shares I trade, it's like $5 with my broker, right? So the good thing about trading these big caps is I take really small shares. Like most of my share sizes are from 5 shares to 50 shares. Every now and then I'll get 100 shares, but usually my commissions for the day are 15, and if I'm like really going crazy, $25 at the most. So day like today, this is probably going to be all commissions. I might have a small like negative $5 for the day, which it could have been negative 200 something. So I'm happy that I was able to get my mind right after those losses. You really got to keep your head in the game. Like, don't get emotional, don't get upset. Just step back and get it back out the mud. Get it back out the mud. But the goal is to stop making these mistakes, and that way this can be all profit, right? This can be all profit. Instead of giving all of it back to the market, this can be all profit. And once we can get consistent with that, then we can start upping our share size, upping our risk amount, and start making some real money. You feel me? Yeah, so that's it. You guys, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If I helped you with anything, drop a comment and let me know, what you thought of this trade review, what you thought of my trades. You got any pointers? Hey, I don't have any pride here, man. I'm learning. I'm struggling, as you can see. I will be going live every trading morning. So hit that subscribe button and come trade with me tomorrow morning. I try to keep it fun, and hey, I lose money, and hopefully I'll be making more money than I lose. But anyway, thanks for watching. Peace.